like it's floating. Alright, I've arrived at a marina just outside of Victoria. I'm going to try my luck at some crabbing and some salmon fishing. Wish me luck. Alright, well while I cruise out to my spot, I'm just going to prep up my crab bait jars. This is, it's all just chicken scraps. Chicken carcass from a rotisserie chicken. These fit pretty good in these things. And then I'm going to poke a bunch of holes in the bag. Hopefully that works. I'll zip tie these inside the cage. There we go. One zip tie. No need to be wasteful. This is a crab trap harness. It's just basically a yoke with 4 points. Put it on all 4 corners of your crab cage. I find these work. Keep your crab trap from sitting on an angle. If you keep tension on your line as it's going down, it'll make sure your crab trap sits nice and flat on the bottom. That's what you want. So crabs can access all 4 doors. There we go. Let's go find a spot to put this. Crabbed here before. You always seem to catch a lot of crabs. It's hit or miss whether you find the females or the males. Just gotta sort of trial and error. So today I'm gonna spread out my 2 traps just to increase my odds, hopefully, of getting at least 1 trap that has some male crabs in it. All right, let's see how deep we are here. We've got 38 feet of water. That sounds good. Here we go. So I just keep a little bit of tension on the line, that way that I know the trap sits nice and flat on the bottom. So you see the line's tight, and then right there it just goes loose. All that slack in the line. So you can just throw the rest of this overboard. Should do. To make it easy for myself, when I put these crab traps away, I pile the line in exactly the same every time. So when I'm taking it out, I can just grab my float and I pile all the line on my deck. Just go all the way out. There's no tangles, there's no mess until the line's all the way out. And then when I put the line back in, I start here, right at this point, and I pile it back in the cage that way. All right, here we go. All right, I'm just marking that on my GPS, and then let's go fishing. Short jaunt over to the salmon fishing spot. Here we go. It's really glassy out here. It's a little bit rainy, but that's all right. I mean, it's glass, so I can't complain. I'd rather have a little bit of rain and really nice seas than the opposite. So I'm gonna get some downriggers in the water and get fishing. Oh, picking out a flasher. This is always fun. I usually almost always put a green one on. It's a green glow flasher. It's a pretty cloudy day, so I don't know how good it's gonna charge up. Yeah, let's do another blue with glow. There we go. So this side here, that's kind of scaly. That's the glow in the dark portion. So I'm gonna keep that up while we're prepping everything else, see if we can charge those up a bit. If you haven't seen this before, this is just a pool noodle with a slit cut in it. I use this to store all my pre-tied spoons. We're gonna go with this guy. We'll go with this one. So I bought this little, I think it's for like drying nail polish or whatever, but it's a little UV light. Bought it from one of those Chinese websites. I actually thought it was battery powered when I bought it, but it turns out it's USB. But luckily I have a USB port on my boat. There we go. Some lights. Charge these babies up a little bit. Throw everything under there. Charge. Well, what we're going to be using today, this is a 9.5 foot mooching rod, and it's got a mooching reel on it. It's just a cheaper Daiwa. From the reel, it comes to a bead, and then a bead swivel, and then a split ring to a ball bearing swivel to one of these pinch clips, and I put that directly on the flasher. If you can't remember which way the flasher goes for some reason, it's always in like the more like aerodynamic way. So when it trolls through the water, the pointy end, it goes to your reel. This hoochie's on about a 2 foot leader, and it's got 2 barbless hooks, and then inside a couple beads. So I'm just sending this flasher and lure back behind the boat. Now, the distance, I usually just do about 20 feet or so, but it really depends on how deep you're going. The more shallow you go, the further back you probably want to go. That way your boat motor's not scaring the fish. 30 feet, 40 feet, and 52 feet. Sure, that works for me. Clip it up right in the black line there. Toss her out beyond the downrigger. Take my rod, set my drag, so just pull it out nicely by hand. Put it in the holder, send her down. I'm gonna put this one down to 80 feet. I'll cinch that down a bit. We're fishing on 2 rods. All right, it's almost 9 o'clock. I was hoping to get out here earlier, but I forgot my life jacket and I drove back home to get it, so that kind of sucks. But we've got 2 crab traps in the water. We've got 2 lines in the water. One's at 80 feet, the other one's at about 50 feet. And the goal today is to catch 4 keeper crabs. That's Dungeness crabs. I'm looking at a 6.5 inch crab, and it has to be male. And then the other thing we want to catch today is a Chinook salmon or spring salmon, and it needs to be at least 45 centimeters or 1.5 feet. And it also has to be a hatchery. Now, if I catch one that's 45 centimeters, I'm probably not keeping it, to be honest. I want something more around the 60-ish probably size before I keep it. Oh, this one just popped off. I don't know if that's a fish. I just sped up, so I think it's just it popped out of the clip. Well, it's not even 9:15 and I'm changing the hoochie. I'm gonna go with this skinny spoon. You know, my thought process here is I'm gonna run this rod pretty shallow, and I generally don't run hoochies shallow, so I'll run this little spoon maybe at like 30 feet or so. Well, if you know anything about fishing, it's about keeping your line in the water, and I try not to be the guy that's always changing my gear and always checking my rods. I try to just get them in there, pick a depth, and try to find the fish. A lot of it, I mean, you can troll for hours and not catch anything, especially spring Chinook fishing. It's slow. Now you can see on this downrigger, the line is on quite an angle here. So I'm probably not even close to 82 feet. It's probably something more like between 60 and 70, somewhere like that. Now there's a couple of reasons that will happen to you. So it's either your downrigger ball isn't heavy enough, maybe your braid that you have on your downrigger is too thick, and that causes drag, pulling the line more rearward, or just current in the water. So the ways you can get around that is to make your braid thinner, get a heavier ball, and avoid the current. avionics open here. I'm just looking at that underwater cliff, I guess you'd call it, or that ridge. And I'm just following that. Fish like to hang out on shelves like that. I've never had this happen before, but I just pulled up my weight and I lost my downrigger clip somehow. I don't know. Just came up without it. Very, very weird. Never had that happen. Yeah, always carry spare downrigger clips, I guess. Just trying to find that little ridge and follow it north there. I've got both the rods almost to the bottom. This guy's at like 80 feet. This one's almost at 93 feet. And it's only in 91 feet of water, so I might hit bottom, but hopefully I just don't lose any gear. Well, it's 9:45. Still no bites yet, but I'm just chilling, having coffee, listening to some Zach Bryan, and praying I catch a fish here. Well, it's almost 11 o'clock, which is slack tide. Still no bites, and my coffee is almost half done. But I'm gonna keep hammering, and hopefully we get something soon. Well, I just sorted out a massive tangle that probably took me like a half hour. I had a weight stuck on the bottom, and then every single other thing was wrapped around it. Both lines, and the other downrigger. On top of that, there was a rockfish on one of the lines. So I got to get this rockfish back in the water. You can see he's got barotrauma. I'm going to use my descending device and get him back down there. So this is my descending device. It's just a halibut spreader bar, and then I've got a little 2-pound weight on there. And I'm just gonna put it on one of my rods. I want him to go down like this, right? I'm gonna put this through the bottom of his lip here. Like so. And then I'll put him in the water. Send them back down to the bottom, kind of slow. And once it's on the bottom, just give it a shake. Just holding the line a bit. Make sure he's off there. A couple shakes. And then hopefully when I reel this up, it comes back up without a fish on it. There it is. Sending device is back and the fish is gone. Hopefully he survives. It's not a guarantee, and I'm not targeting rockfish, but it happens. You get over top of them and they hit the salmon gear. So the DFO, Department of Fisheries and Oceans, they put out this rockfish guide so you can figure out what's what. Rockfish isn't open yet in these parts. I think it opens May 15th or something like that, but there's a little guide on there so you can try to figure out what type of rockfish you have. Well, after the big tangle incident and getting the rockfish back down, I got both lines back in the water and I'm fishing again. Still looking for that Chinook. Blueberry muffin. So that tugboat there is pulling this log boom. Well, I think that's it for me. No salmon today. I'm gonna pull up the gear and go check those crab traps. Pulling up the last rod. All right, let's go get these crabs. So I'm throwing back all the females right now. I'm gonna grab my gloves before I get pinched. The female. That's a male, but I don't think it's big enough. I'm just gonna put them upside down for now. I think that's a male too. Yeah. Another male. Another female. And you're looking at the two. So you see the one with the wide plate, that's a female. The one with the skinny plate, that's a male. Female, male. You can only keep the males. Here's another male, but he's clearly too small, so I'm throwing him back. Same with this guy, too small. Got my crab gauge here, but I'm pretty good at eyeballing it, what's good, what's not. So from the point right there to that point right there needs to be 6.5 inches or 165 centimeters. So this guy is like 5 millimeters too short. Yeah, there you go. So that's a keeper. We have one keeper crab. And then this male, same thing, he's a keeper. I don't have a bucket or anything, so I think I'm just gonna put him in my crab cage. You can just live in there with your friend. All right, not too bad. We got 2 keeper Dungeness from 1 trap. Hopefully the other trap is 2 more, and that's our limit. Always put your boat in neutral if you're dealing with ropes. Okay. Oh, we got a red rock. I don't know if there's any keepers in there, but we definitely got some crabs. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 Dungeness and 1 red rock. There's 1 female. There is 1 male. 3 is a male, 2. 4 is a female. Another male. Another male, another female. All right, I threw back all the females. Now I'm just gonna measure all the males and see if there's any keepers. This one is a keeper. Look at that, just barely, but it is. Heck yeah. That means this one probably is not. Yep, not a keeper. I don't think I've ever seen one that annoyingly close. It's gotta go back. Yes, indeed, short about 1 centimeter. Same thing, 1/2 centimeter short. Now this is a red rock crab. Red rocks actually only need to be within this small window right here. 115, so this is technically a keeper red rock. Now, red rock tastes okay, but the real pain in the butt, their shells are super hard. It was getting through those claws is it's a real pain in the butt. So I think I'm just gonna put this red rock back and then keep the 3 Dungeness. Bye, buddy. All right, buddy, you can go hang out with your friends in there. I just went to take my plug out and I found this guy hiding in my bilge. Must have snuck down there when I wasn't looking. I don't think he's legal. Let's have a look. Oh, he is. Oh my god. He's small, but he's legal, yeah. Look at that. So I just called a buddy of mine who loves Dungeness crab. He's not home right now, but I told him if he wanted some crab, I would drop some off at his place. So that's what I'm doing. 2 crabs for my buddy Tim. He'll be home shortly. I'm gonna throw this in his backyard. Autumn's helping me flush the motor. Good job, baby girl. Well, I'd have to say that was a success. I fished for about 3 hours and didn't catch any salmon, but did get a full limit of crabs after I found that one in the bilge. I dropped 2 off at my buddy's place and then I just cooked up 2 more. So those will be delicious, I'm sure. I got a bear hunt tomorrow, so I gotta go pack for that and clean up the rest of the gear, and I'll see you next time.